Hazard warning. Entering contaminated zone. Transmissions jammed. Proximity coverage only. Backup activated. System rebooted.
And here we are with Misadventures in the Dark Zone. As we are trying to, first time, feel out this little Dark Zone area in my home stomping grounds, New York City. Yes, we are playing Tom Clancy's Division. I am the illumANark, and we are here playing the Division. This was from the open beta this past weekend. And what I would say is this footage is my seeing how dangerous such a place called a dark zone is, mostly by testing out the well, how would we say, bullet sponge absorbing qualities of the NPCs, as well as seeing how well we will be hunted down. Now, there are some statistics that on this particular weekend, when people were playing the Division, there was over 6 million people who played the Division for the open beta, and only about half of them actually went rogue at any one particular time. Or any particular time. Now, accidentally, I do know it after having done this playthrough, it is very easy to accidentally go rogue, especially if you've got a weapon that throws some serious force behind it, stuff like a high-powered sniper rifle and such, because those things are, well, heck, they do their damage. You know, that's what they're good at. And this was a test. This is only a test. My second attempt at the Dark Zone was far better. I wanted to just mess around and see if you could do the stupid things you could pull off in other games, where you could basically run into a crowd of enemies with the right attributes, and bang, you could lay waste to your enemies from the inside of their little horde. And I'll tell you, no, it does not seem that is that easy. And so I am scouting out these areas, trying to feel out what the Dark Zone is all about. And I'm really loving it, because for one, New York. New York is my hometown. Okay, I'm really from a Long Island boy originally, but I spent so much time in the city in my youth, and then again I also lived there as an adult. It was the first city I chose to live in as an adult. And I have to say, I mean, the other choices, you know, generally were made for me. Not that that was all that fun, but you know, I had to do what I had to do. And this place, I get to run around in New York City, check out my stomping grounds in a semi-post-apocalyptic kind of environment, and I have to admit I walk into all manner of evil in this, especially rogues. Oh, the rogues were tearing me up, partially because I was only a second level Dark Zone player by this point, and it was my first experience. I did not know how difficult this could or would end up being, because the just a basic is a very different feel from the Dark Zone to the regular PvE area, because the environmental dangers are, well, they're not that treacherous. They're okay. You can deal with it. You can go forward and do your thing and play around in the normal PvE area, and yeah, that'll help eventually build up your base and all that other stuff, rescuing hostages, doing all the good things that a Division agent should do to try to help rebuild his lovely city. And that's what I'm trying to do, is rebuild this lovely city. But I'm not paying attention to the fact that I am completely surrounded and being just turned upside down by, you know, uh, actually better than average AI. Yes, you can get these. I later learned out how to funnel them to you. And it's, you wound, run, wound, run, wound, run, they die. Or you get higher powered gear. Now, I was using all green gear, which is that step above being just the standard worn out gear that you can get first up. And so you try to pitch that white gear as soon as you can, gray, white, however the color plays out. And you do what you have to, and always, always, always restock. Because it sucks to run out of ammunition. It sucks to run out of grenades. It sucks to run out of medkits. And I'm not one for running out of things. So you have to remember to pick up your stuff while you can. And then I think this is what causes me to get shot. Maybe not. Well, now that I got the little yellow pack on the bottom of my backpack, the biohazard bag that I will be able to extract. Except for the fact that, if I remember correctly, my first playthrough I didn't get to extract anything from the Dark Zone. It was, well, I was the hunted, not the hunter. And I did not realize how quickly and how often people would go rogue, intentionally let the timer run out and then go rogue again when they got up on somebody unsuspecting. So, with that being said, this is a run through. Well, it's actually a trot through, where I'm exploring New York in a way that I have to admit I don't ever remember running down the city streets carrying a machine pistol or an assault rifle. And I remember the city being far more crowded any time of day. But I was trying out the various mechanics to see if I could get something that would quickly and easily break or would make my life easier or more difficult. And this cover to cover running was one of those things. I have to admit, you can do a cover to cover run so that you end up in cover all the time. And with that being said, it actually makes the game a lot easier to play when you remember to duck your head once in a while before you get shot. And later on, I end up pulling out a lot of loot with the second character I built, who they looked pretty much the same, except my second character did have a watch cap on. But they're in the Dark Zone. There's just so much to look at and so much to do and so much to fear if you're really into that fear kind of thing, because you really don't ever know when people you don't know are just gonna go rogue or do something else that really just takes advantage of your presence, your being there. All in all, though, game has, especially for a beta, has a very good overall finish. I like all the mechanics. I kind of see the what some people are referring to as bullet sponginess of the NPCs as being more like a numerical representation of the bullet sponginess is really more of the combat stress that is affecting you. You are you know, under a great deal of pressure to do the right thing, and so you're popping bullets into things. My other character used a M1A rifle, I think it was, and he was just brutal. You know, headshot, one or two shots, and bang, the opponent was done. This would be the time of my first extraction, and you know, I have just been waiting for this extraction. It's the first time I actually get to do this stuff, and I'm learning a little bit about the mechanics in each and every second of the game. That's why my second character was actually far more with it than my first character. I was, you know, just looking at the graphics first time out, like I am now. Just kind of keeping an eye out, looking around, and knowing that this is not a, yeah, so that guy uses a grenade on me, takes my gear, and that is where I die again. And oh goodness gracious, does he end up on my blacklist of people that I'm going to be gleefully hunting down when the game actually restarts, if they ever go rogue. And I know he went rogue doing the killing me, because there's actually a bullet threshold, the sponginess to myself, my character, that exists in the fact that I can take a couple of shots before somebody actually turns rogue, unless they break that numerical threshold of what they're doing. And that numerical threshold, it is it's low enough that if you use a high power rifle or something similar, you break past that threshold, single shot, go straight to rogue. And so sometimes that's unintentional, because you're beating down on a NPC, and then all of a sudden another player character jumps in front of you who's not in your group, and bang, that shot that you just pulled off, you know, that would have killed the bad guy singular shot, now has caused enough damage to a division agent for you to have disavowed the agency and gone rogue with a bounty on your head. Since this is from my first playthrough in the Dark Zone, I believe we're going to see me go rogue at least once, and that is a kind of oh, that's all, folks. Because as soon as you go rogue, people will literally turn around and just lay into you. And there are advantages and disadvantages, social and emotional advantages, and all sorts of great things that come from playing a game where you're fighting to take back one of the greatest cities on the planet. It might not be the greatest city. I mean, there are accomplishments by other countries to make a fantastic building or several buildings, or put together a collection that would be called the city, and that would be fine. But this is fun. We're having a great time. We're stomping around New York. We're looking for things. We're trying to find gear, and I don't know where it was that I ended up turning rogue. It may not have been this section of this playthrough, maybe the next one. But anyway, we have just an amazing scaled version of New York City. I do not know how these guys had the pull it off capacity that would allow them to, you know, really keep this running that it was a great thing. I'm hoping that they will add the other, the full Manhattan and the other 4 boroughs, because that would give you a massive place to run around in each day. And oh, there you go, getting shot in the back. So yes, that little disc, that orange disc, is the loading screen, and we're loading for I think the 3rd time this video. And it's not unusual to get killed, but I was just trying to, buff around, see if there was any kind of, knock some dust off of something, find some Easter eggs or whatever I had to do. But I also realized I was in a bad way trying to do something with underpowered gear. And in the Dark Zone, unless you're in a really good group, you do not have time or space for that kind of silliness. So beyond that, in our rest of our adventures, this series is going to be called Dark Zone Misadventures, because that's exactly what it was. It was a Dark Zone misadventure. And I will fight to be bringing up a series of reactive reviews, that's what I call them. And no, they're not React channel videos. They are reviews where I'm reacting to how I feel about something, not just the, doing the number crunching and verifying and checking and looking at the accuracy as well as the amount of damage that a particular item does. I am not that kind of a number cruncher, so I'll leave that to the people who believe they're smart enough to actually run those numbers out. I'm just going to run around and see what kind of dangerous mess I can get myself into, and there's quite a bit out there. That is to be said, is true. You will be able to deal with a lot of problems very quickly. And I think that is one of the greatest attributes of the game, because it's not like a lot of third-person shooters. This actually is probably my opinion, and we all know what opinions are like. There's, everybody's got one. Some of them stink. Well, in my opinion, this is one of the best games I've had a chance to play this year. And look at that, see? That's how quick it takes for all of a sudden a non-hostile agent to go rogue. And now there's a non-hostile agent trying to get the hell away from them. And I'm getting myself shot the hooey and back.
Now entering a contaminated area.
So
Leaving contaminated area.
that is nice that a guy who didn't even know me came out and revived me. But then again, I am trying to support his forward advancement, so maybe he needs somebody else to soak up ammo, soak up shots fired. This is one of my techniques. I broke out one of my sentries and hid, reloaded, made sure I was all, healed up. And, it's amazing what they can do when people are not looking at you. Yeah. So, little turret's about halfway depleted.
Leaving contaminated area.
And we're moving on. See, it's a thing you can't really. You can let it recharge and therefore have regular access to a thing where you can't pick up one that's not really useful anymore. Whether it's the fact that it's discharged so much ammunition, or whatever it is. So, that being said, we're looking over now extraction that's going to happen momentarily. And when it occurs, I have nothing, but I want to see what's going on, how many grenades get thrown, how many people are really embracing that evil concept. So, anyway, this is the illumANark, and I will be signing out. Sayonara. Said, though I would appreciate some, I would love to know that I'm gonna get better in this hospital, but I know this is more an observation, treat, and release. But it also gives me the time to render out this material so that I can present it to you in a timely fashion. This is all of the information that's out there, and this is what I'm playing, and it is something I'm going to try to commit myself to the oh, see another rogue behind me. Oh no, Mr. Bill. So oh, look at that. I've noticed there's a character that's not actually being a jerk. He's trying to help every agent out when he can. So that being said, it occasionally happens that, oh, it's this guy that heals. No, that's the guy that kills me. Gee, thanks, guys. And yes, this is the illumANark and the Tom Clancy's Division Open Beta Dark Zone Misadventures. I am so looking forward to its release in 2 weeks on March 8th. And if you ever happen to be in the Denver area, I might be able to sit down and talk out about how this game should advance, because I'm really hoping they eventually throw all 5 boroughs in and even make expansions for like Long Island or New Jersey, upstate New York, somewhere, because with a biological attack, it is not going to have stayed contained in this city. There is going to be a patient who was look at that, see? The baddie guy was killed because he was injured, and now we're running, or trotting. So we're gonna start a extraction. Jeez, I forgot how many, you know. Well, here we go, people. In the end, I'm the illumANark. Peace out. Peace out for today. Peace out for tomorrow. Peace out to you always. And know that there's nothing but love for you, my illuminaries and Mysterians. The illuminaries keep bringing the light. The Mysterians keep searching out those mysteries. And I am out, the illumANark, head of the illumANarchy army. And we are gone.